Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world and anyone who's listening to me. Assalamu alaikum. Well, I was just traveling and I'm stuck in traffic because every time it rains in Islamabad, traffic comes to a jam because apparently people go haphazard and some unseen forces come into play and block the traffic, so it's quite funny. Anyways, the reason of my today's broadcast is that I just wanted to discuss how being in the capitalist society for so long, it's now going to play such a negative role now that the government has decided to block the imports in order to sustain the current foreign deposit deficits, and in order to maintain those, while it's one of the ways to go ahead to stop the exchange of foreign exchange, or stop having them depleted. The capitalist concept of demand and supply, now that's going to play a vital role here, because now that everyone will know that the imports of all the imported items has been banned, and supply is going to run short, and we all know the economic concept of when the supply is short, demand increases and the prices increase. So we're going to see a huge inflation in the prices of those imported products, and among those products are imported medicines that could be vital for healthcare, could be food items that we don't have originally in Pakistan. So it could be a huge drawback for that. So when people adopt foreign concepts and policies, you need to understand that at some point it's going to come bite us back. So we always have to, we should have always looked for our countries, our nations' profit, our nation's best interest, instead of making allies with any countries for particular reasons, or for the reasons of funds. It should have been on the basis of geopolitical benefits. It should have been on the basis of economic benefits, social benefits. We should have taken decisions earlier stages in Pakistan that could have supported Pakistan at these particular moments. Unfortunately, we did not, and the politicians at that time are to blame for, but at the same time we should blame ourselves as a nation as well, because we're the one who chose them. So like I said, capitalism is all about capturing the market and the opportunities. So once the supply is going to run short, everything is going to get expensive, and the reason I'm worried is that among those products there could be life-saving medicines, there could be staple food items. So for people who cannot afford food products or healthcare products at this stage, imagine what's going to happen in a month of time. And once the petrol prices hike as well, that's going to be crazy as well. Everything's going to hit. I mean, it's common understanding that once petrol increases, tea, flour, rice, sugar, basic needs of human staple foods increase immediately. So I'm not sure how we're going to deal with it. I'm really concerned about it. This is just a humble questions from patriotic Pakistani, but I do have a suggestion that we need to have political stability immediately. We need to have political control immediately to control all this economic crisis, and we should stop looking towards countries or nations that promise to help us but they don't, and their history of abandoning us at the time when we actually need their help, and we know which countries these are, and we should actually open our doors to all those countries that might end up helping us, or plan to help us, or give us support. So we cannot be another victim of proxy wars. We cannot be a victim of the proxy problems of different countries having problems with different countries, and then we have to side up with the power countries. That's not how we're supposed to be. We are a nuclear state. We should stand our ground, even if we are very low on our financial status. If we don't struggle, nations who don't want to struggle, nations who don't want to bleed for the country, they will never get success. They will never stand up. We have very common, very beautiful examples around us. We've got Japan. Right after the nuclear war, Japan worked day and night, even without salaries, and they got their country up. But their country is one of the leading countries in the globe right now. They do their best to be active. They have the latest technology, and they are one of the best examples that we can come up with. Similarly, China. Who could ever expect that China would one day dominate the world? China has basically, literally broken the hegemony of USA from the last multiple decades, especially after COVID. US is no longer the only dominant country in the globe. It's China has defeated the status, and now China is one of the leading dominant countries in the world, and they've done this out of sheer hard work, nationalism, and staying together. So while I don't at all promote nationalism, I promote patriotism. And for patriotism, what I mean is to be honest to your country, struggle for your country, take some bleeding for your country. And we should. And one more thing, it just clicked to me. We always criticize overseas Pakistanis. That you're not in the country. Why are you talking about this and that? Please understand that 90% of those over Pakistanis have been forced to go out of Pakistan and earn. And there's a huge amount of foreign remittance that they send that make us survive these crises. So they are equally, playing their part, staying away from the countries and being honest to their countries and bleeding outside. So when I say bleeding, I'm literally meaning that we burn our blood and sweat to earn some dollars, some money, and then most of them we have to use it for our households and daily use, and then overseas Pakistanis have to send it back to their families to support them. So like I said, now capitalism is going to be one of the craziest things that put a negative impact on our society. So be aware of this, understand this, and it's my appeal, my humble appeal to the bourgeoisies of Pakistan to not once take ultimate benefit of this current crisis, and to not fill your pockets. For once, let the profit go, and if you can't let the profit go, let it be at a minimum percentage. We don't want you to lose every profit, but do not create a chaotic profit out of this. Let your nation, your country survive, because while you'll benefit, you'll fill your pockets, you'll fill your careers, you'll fuel your generations. The portraits of our country, there are not going to be any portraits left in the country. So the rich is going to get richer, the poor is going to not get poorer. There's going to be no poor left. So then it's a huge amount of people we're talking about, and when it comes to national interest, it must be seen at a mass level and not just the bourgeoisie level. So I really think we should work together as a nation. Every department, every person who's working in different fields should avoid the urge of making unreasonable profits at this stage, if they could, if they are in a certain position. And we should work together Take Japan as one of the biggest examples. Take China as an example. There are other nations as well, but these are the two nations really close and open to study. Take Malaysia an example. I mean, God forsake, there was a time that our airlines was the model airlines for Malaysia and Emirates to come and see and study how we're working, how we're running our airlines, and then they established their own airline, and now they're one of the leading airlines, and now ours is one of the lowest, most bad reputable airline right now, which is a shame for us, and I hope that it changes over time, inshallah. But that's the fact, that's the truth. So come on, nation, you need to stand up. I'm talking to each and every one of you who's looking at this video, who has the courage to listen to me and face the reality. We all know what's coming next. We all know all the chaos that's going to come and hit us pretty soon, and it's not about a matter of months, it's about a matter of days, hours. We don't know, and if the political crisis goes more ahead as to what we're expecting in the next 5 or 6 days, don't be misguided, don't stay naive. Please know that it's going to really hurt us, and all those middle class people and the lower class people, we're the ones who are going to get targeted for that. So we really need to come together, think of our nation, support our nation. So once again, talking about banning imports, well, it's okay, it's still going to put pressure on it, but at this current stage, this had to be done. Another thing that being a patriotic Pakistani, but I'm not a naive person, I'm not an ignorant person. I want to give an example of how our neighbor country, subcontinent neighbor country, India. I don't know if a lot of you know that there was a time, until almost about 1990, India had banned all the major imports of brands, especially in the automobile, industry and other industries, which made their public struggle. But what happened is that it forced local industries to develop, mature over time. And once they were mature, once they felt no foreign challenge, that's when India decided to import, let these cars come in and other imports come in. So we've got practical examples in front of us. Why do we have to suffer through trial and error? Why can't we learn from other people's mistakes, or why can't we learn from other people's implementive successful strategies? Yes, we have to modify it to our country's needs and situation, but we have examples. So when will we hide behind the concept of being a third world country and just cry over it? Why cannot we work towards making our country a first world country in, let's say, half a century? Why not one generation can work and struggle for the next generation for the sake of your country? Let's not be selfless this time. This is a time, trust me, we cannot survive the default. If the country hits the default, we will not be able to survive that. We have the example of Sri Lanka in front of us. We do not want that in our country. We're Pakistan. We need to come together and work it out. And honestly, to all supporters of all the political parties, right now it does not matter which political party you suggest. If you are honest to your country, if you are loyal to your country, you'll do what's best for your country. And regardless of which leader you follow, just do what's best for your country, and that cannot be an individual decision. That has to be a cumulative decision, and for the best of the nation and the country. So I know probably a repeated nation country for so many times, because this is what is important right now. Your individual sake is no longer important. Your individual profits, individual benefits is no longer important. We should look at a cumulative benefit for our country. Please understand this. A lot of people do not understand this, and I'm saying this in English. I'm speaking all this in English because I've been seen by a lot of overseas Pakistanis and a lot of people from abroad as well. We need our friendly countries, friendly nations to come ahead, come on social media, come on online and support us. Show your support to us. Send trends, set up raise your voices through social media, through whatever way you can. This is a time of call. This is a time to prove you're the friends of our nation, you're the friends of Pakistan, because this is when we need you. And if you're not there in the hour of our need, we don't need you when we're done with this. And we are a nation that will survive this. I know we will survive this. And once we survive this, we'll raise back together. And one day we will be ruling. One day we will break the hegemony of these states, these Western states. We will rule this world, inshallah. And that's pretty much it. If you disagree with my opinion, leave your opinions in the chat, and let's have another session later on then. And once again, Pakistan Zindabad, Pakistan Paindabad. पाकिस्तान का मतलब क्या? ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह।